Welcome to the KTAL News Now Digital Streaming Center. I'm Bernita Fran, and Robert Half is an online tool connecting employers and job seekers alike. Ryan Sutton published the biggest takeaways from the 2024 Building Future Forward Tech Team's report, which explains their growing concern over the critical gap seen in skilled tech professionals. Now, what is the critical gap, you ask? Well, joining me now to dive deep into the findings of this report is Ryan Sutton, the Executive Director of Technology Practice for Robert Half. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely happy to have you here and talk a little bit about this topic. This is really unique and interesting to a lot of people right now, right? Because what we will find is the critical gap that is defined in this report is really growing and is at the forefront of all things technology right now. So let's just dive right in and talk about the biggest takeaways from that 2024 report that you were able to publish some information on.
Yeah, at Robert Half, we're constantly monitoring tech trends, and what's really exciting to us about this research is it crystallizes, our observations over the last couple of years with feedback from the executives to their key five priorities and the skill gaps associated with those five priorities.
Absolutely. And can you dive deep in regards to what those five priorities are?
Yeah, absolutely. And the first priority cited is security of IT systems and information. And this is, I think, to me, the easiest one to understand for everybody because what's really critical to me is the protection of my personal data. So that is how companies are pulling through AI and machine learning for corporations to stay at the forefront of emerging trends in tech. Third, cloud computing, cloud initiatives. Fourth, tech modernization, modernizing their systems. And fifth, and finally, software engineering, software development to both maintain existing systems as well as develop new cutting edge applications.
Absolutely. And as we kind of talk about, skilled tech professionals in the job market, what has been the critical gap that employers have been finding as, we see AI growing in the tech industry?
Yeah, and I think it's also said like, if I'm a candidate, what can I do to set myself apart? Well, to me, those five priorities are really the roadmap. From there, what's the cheat code to align your approach, your methodology to that roadmap? And again, I think we use the word tech to, convey this, where the word T, tailor your approach, E, experience. And this is where I'd really highlight, don't underestimate the smallest opportunity to gain experience and exposure, particularly with AI. So at your current firm, if there's an AI initiative, volunteer to be part of that task force, even if that means heavy observation, learn, get that exposure. The C in tech, with our example, is really customizing your network because your network needs to be a tech-centric network. Now, if in your network you don't have anybody involved in AI or machine learning that's of interest to you in your career, search out, find connections, engage there, because they can really be your guides and your mentors. Then finally, the hone, H. This is where, as much as everybody knows to develop technology skills, do not neglect the soft skills. The biggest separator we see in technology is the ability to convey tech requirements with non-tech professionals. So those soft skills of communication, problem solving, creative thinking, really critical to your success to set yourself apart.
It's truly amazing. That's a lot of great tips to provide to those on the job market right now, and then also to employers as well. Can you tell us a little bit more in regards to how Robert Half kind of helps build that connection between both the employers and tech professionals seeking a new job?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it also kind of dovetails a little into like, well, if I'm an employer, how do I, fill this gap? Well, at Robert Half, we believe in a compound approach. And what I mean by that is the first step in a compounded approach is to actually assess your internal talent. So whenever we work with clients that are trying to tackle AI hiring, for example, or cloud hiring, we're always going to encourage them if they find that they have a skills gap, assess your internal employees. You have people who've been with you for 3 years, upskill those employees, really customize the gap so you understand how to maximize retention before you come to Robert Half to hire the best talent. Because once you come to Robert Half as a client, we really want to be able to match you with top talent as well as what we call passive talent, which simply means somebody who might be an expert in their field and in their skill set, but they're not actively looking for a job, so they would never apply to anything you might post online. So again, the compounded approach of partnering with Robert Half to get those passive, high level technology candidates, their internal talent assessment, really critical to have the right approach.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of like its own version of LinkedIn a little bit, is what I see it as, but specific to the industry and a great tool to be utilized. So I appreciate you for coming on and talking a little bit about this topic. Are there any last minute notes or pointers you still wanted to mention that maybe we haven't touched on in regards to the Building Future Forward Tech Teams report?
Yeah, I'd encourage everybody to visit us at roberthalf.com, download the full research and our e-guide of building future forward tech teams. A lot more great information that we couldn't get to because there's so much great content. And from there, if you need more guidance, if you want, some recommendations on credentials, visit our blog. A lot of information. I would always say, come often, come frequently. Looking forward to helping everybody with their search on both the client and the candidate side.
Absolutely. And knowledge, taking in knowledge and just learning through some of these articles that are posted to Robert Half is always great to read up on and stay in the know. So thank you again, Ryan. We appreciate it. And you guys, as he mentioned, you can find the link to Robert Half on our website, ktalnews.com, right here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.